All right. So my internet died for a moment. So hopefully those of you that were watching can hop back in. But sorry for that. Should be able to get back into it here though. All right. So yeah, that was weird. My chat just totally died. Or my logo back up on the screen now that my internet is back. One moment. All right. Sorry about that. Blame Dolander. Yeah. So bad that he just... My internet couldn't take it anymore. My internet was so offended that just stopped working. Offense, though, keeping us in it as Sterling will get this through the diving glove of the shortstop there. 2 on and 2 down. All right. Solace chops it right to third, and the force out of second ends the inning. So Colorado answers back by adding 3 of their own and also hitting 2 homers. Dolander does come out. I was honestly wondering if he might not, just with how poor he was in the first. But no, this is spring. This is practice. It's fine to be. It's not fine to be terrible, but it's more. You can be a lot more patient with somebody who's having a bad outing here in spring than you could come the regular season. Logan Davidson, the shortstop, hitting in that 9 spot, hitting really well to start spring. Dolander just cannot get anything by these hitters, though. He gets in all these 2 strike counts and can't finish off these ABs. Can't get him to swing at anything outside the zone, and anything in the zone, they just foul off. Just like that, 0-2 to 3-2. It's fine to be terrible. Yeah, it's just spring. Except it wasn't just spring last year is the problem. 10 pitches this at bat. I mean, dude can't even retire the 9-hitter right now. That's how bad he's playing. I remember Logan. I mean, I don't know how he's developed in this series, to be fair, but he was not an offensive player in our athletics franchise in MLB The Show 23. That's for sure. Hey, Fiend, watched the scouting video a few times. Not sure what. Yeah, it's the one thing. It's really hard to explain. So, let's say you scouted a 22-year-old, and their overall is 70 to 75, and their potential is 80 to 85. We'll just say this hypothetical, right? So their overall range 70 to 75, you take the maximum of that, 75, and then you take the maximum of their potential range, which we said was 80 to 85, right? So 85 is his max potential, 75 is his max overall. So 85 minus 75 is 10. So you know that his overall, so that his potential will be 10 higher than his overall. And using this on a scouted player isn't as helpful, but what it can be helpful on, let's say you have an 18-year-old that you haven't scouted yet, right? Those guys have insanely high ranges. Their overall range is like 46 to 70 or something crazy big, right? And so if he has that 46 to 70 overall range and his potential is like 60 to 90 or whatever it is, then you would take his max potential at 90, his max overall at 70. 90 minus 70 is 20. That's a pretty good gap, because let's say at that point he comes in, he's 60 overall. You add 20 to that, you know he's going to have B potential. Which, you know, 60 overall and 80 potential isn't a great pick. So that's what's going to help you. If you have guys that are, looks like the low overall is going to be lower, you want that gap to be bigger, because to get a guy who's 60 overall to be a good pick, you need that potential to be 30 higher, right? So all of a sudden you look for a guy who has, if his max overall is 70, you want his max potential to be 99, because then you're much more likely to get a good pick. And of course, if given the opportunity, you always want somebody's max potential to be 99, but that's just, it's rare when you scout somebody for that still to be the case. So look at somebody's max potential, subtract that by his max overall. You want that gap to be probably, like in a perfect scenario, 20 to 30. You can add 15. Like 15's good if you're looking for a more MLB ready player now that might not have the highest potential. But really 20 to 30. Finally, we get a strikeout from Dolander. So hopefully, if you need more clarification, yeah, it's really to help find guys to scout. So take his max potential, subtract his max overall, and you're looking for it probably in most cases at least 20. How long are you waiting for Barreto and Dorsey's pitch push? Based on what I'm seeing from Dolander, I think we got to be pretty patient with them. If Barreto has a very strong year at AAA this year, I could see him being a September call-up. That's probably the earliest I could see him coming up. I would guess he's more of a guy that comes up next year. For Dorsey's going to be very tricky, and I actually wanted to talk about this at the top of the stream, but I totally forgot. For Dorsey, it's going to be really tough to decide when to bring him up, because as a hitter, he's a guy that could come up, you know, if he has a really good year as soon as September this year, but probably, you know, a guy next year. But as a pitcher, I feel like he's 2 years away. So do we bring him up when his hitting is ready and have him just go through the bumps and bruises as a pitcher in the majors? Or do we wait until he's ready as a pitcher? That might take a while. And I feel like people aren't going to want me to wait until I feel like he's ready as a pitcher, because it'll take multiple years. And Dorsey's a guy, has a lot of interest, of course. People are going to want to see him start to play in the majors at some point. Barreto and Dorsey. Yeah, Barreto and Dorsey are going to add to our pitching a whole lot. I feel like people, when we first drafted Dorsey, didn't think he was that good of a pitcher. I think he's a really good pitching prospect for an 18-year-old. He has, what is it, 65 walks per 9, 60 hits per 9. That was pretty well struck by Kyle Brown, but it's handled by O'Neill. So, not saying like he's forever away as a pitcher, but he's at least probably a couple years. You know, he's a 71 overall pitcher. And based on what we're seeing, even guys that are 80 overall are terrible. In Chase Dolander. Not every 80 overall is going to be terrible, of course. Come on. You got to give us that call, man. That entire ball was in the zone. Barreto and Dorsey around the same time. If we were to do that, then Dorsey probably wouldn't be a very good pitcher to start out. Be a good hitter. Because Barreto is probably either a September guy or a invite to spring training next year kind of guy is what I would guess his timeline would be. I was not even competitive. But it's Richie Covey. Don't mind pitching around him. That's just the third walk already, though. Ungerer could help. My question is, do we trade Dolander for Perry now instead? Nice throw there from Solace. Richie Covey is gone. I was not even close. Solace threw that one right on the money. Look at this one again. Yeah, I mean, Kyle Brown was just waiting for him there. Yeah, he never had a chance. Now, Richie Covey, I don't know if he should really be stealing bases. I guess spring's the time to do it. I do like Ungerer. I think Ungerer's the best pitcher we could get for Micgaffic for sure. But Snelling is a lefty. And even, like, it's not even just that I haven't taken good lefties. There are not good lefties being generated in this year's in this franchise series. It's really weird. The #1 rated lefty in the prospect system is the Pringle guy that the Dodgers took last year. No, Perry's not the lefty. Snelling from San Diego is the lefty. Perry's the guy that's already 77 overall, but still not on the 40-man roster from the Phillies. So that's like 77 overall. Oh, that was not nearly as good of a throw by Solace there. That one might have slipped out of his hand a little bit. And it's just rare to find somebody 77 overall and still not on somebody's 40-man roster. So that's like going to be the highest overall player. Oh, my camera, one sec. I got to do this to tell it to stop following me around. That's like the highest overall you're going to find that we could trade for in this franchise. He's 20 years old. He's got like 77 walks per 9. He's got 91 stamina. Yep. That's who Perry is. 6'5". He has a good velocity rating, but his fastball is only 92, but that's fine. So Perry would be the guy that you would add that could potentially come up, you know, the same time as Barreto, because he would be very close in ratings with Barreto. But Ungerer, he'd be more on... He'd be kind of more like a Micgaffic replacement, right? Because Micgaffic's also 71 overall. De La Cruz will drive in a run. So if we were to get Ungerer, which I don't mind that at all. If we want to keep Dolander, it's between Snelling and Ungerer, depending if we want a lefty or if we want the better player. I mean, Snelling is 2 overall higher, to be fair. He's also 73 overall right now. We could take Ungerer and just really try to focus on lefty pitching. I don't know. It's been tough. Our first trade, yeah, more upside and like 5 years younger. And Micgaffic just hasn't been working out. Dolander and Micgaffic, every time we've hopped in and watched them play, it's been terrible. Except for Dolander. Dolander was so good in the first 2 years when we watched him play, but these last year... the lefty would be nice, yeah. Yeah, as you're saying, yeah. But I feel like eventually the game's going to start generating good lefties that we can add. Right? You got to think that would be the case. The runner will hold at third. Decent throw there from Vane. But yeah, Dolander just continues to be just absolutely terrible, man. Which does open up the door for Perry. But the thing is, with Dolander, we could just not hop into his games. We could just say, hey, Dolander, you have a big enough sample that he's good in simulation but terrible when we watch. We're just not going to watch Dolander games. Sorry, the Reds franchise. First draft, generational second baseman that can play, oh geez, pretty much everywhere. Nice. That's one thing that I wish they, like, I have not gotten like a true utility player yet in the draft. My utility players are coming from the Rule 5 draft.
One ball, no strike.
Yeah, I felt the game did work on their prospect generation a little bit this year. I think they're being better. I mean, you're seeing it in our franchise. Like Rafael Murillo, I did not see anybody close to as good of a prospect that wasn't generational as that last year. Oh, you just got unlucky with a couple of 85 to 99 potential good guys. That'll happen. Typically, the one clue I can give on if somebody's going to end up on the low end of their ratings is how your scouts rank them. Like if somebody has some ratings that you're like, oh, those look pretty good on the Rangers. Why aren't my scouts high on him? And it's not because they're old. Oftentimes it's because they're actually on the low end of their ratings. I don't know if that was the case with your guy. That's kind of what I've seen is if it's not like a 22-year-old, he's like 20 years old or something, and his ranges look pretty good, but your scouts aren't as high on him as they should be. Might be because he's actually on the lower end of their ranges. What's good? How are you? I'm from Twitch. Saw you on Von Rye's stream. Thanks. Always KD. Thanks for hopping on by. Yeah, I've been watching some of Von Rye, who's doing a Cardinals franchise over on Twitch. All you guys in here, of course, like streams, so you can go check him out over on Twitch. So far, not looking good. Dolander couldn't even make it through 3 innings in spring training. And Ruiz looking to drive in another athletics run. We might be done with this sooner rather than later. I think I want to maybe see one more trip through our order. A jam, great stream. Go Rockies. Thanks for hopping by, Garpep. How is Dorsey doing? Dorsey is not on the spring training roster. We want to be patient with him.
One ball, one strike.
Gonna give him time to develop in the minors. As a hitter, he could probably step up and do a pretty good job in the DH spot, but we, of course, are very invested in him as a pitcher as well. This one's off the wall. So we're going to give him some time in the minors. I was kind of talking about it a little bit earlier. It's going to be very tough to decide when to bring him up because as a hitter, I feel like he could be ready as soon as this year. As a pitcher, it might take him longer, so it's going to be tough for me to find the balance of when actually is the right time to bring him up. We've already given up 10 runs to the Athletics here. My goodness. Wait, the third base umpire said it was fair. Let's go. Let's finally get out of the inning. Bubba Thompson is a 99 speed, base running, aggressive. The potential. We can take a look at him. Yeah, last season I was like sure that we wanted to use trade number 2 on a pitcher. And before the stream, I was kind of thinking maybe we don't, because if we could just be patient with Micgaffic and Dolander, our pitching isn't looking bad, and maybe we can get. I've been really looking for that high speed base stealer contact guy. Something that I feel like we don't really have that skill set in this franchise yet. So you think he might be a permanent DH? Don't progress as a pitcher. He'll be a good pitcher. I just think he's a little bit farther away. At least in my opinion. We'll take a look at his ratings after this game. And Omar Figueroa goes yard. Here in the third, 380 feet. Not going to be a home run in most stadiums, but here in spring training it will be. The first homer of spring for a top 40 pick in last year's draft. Already on the Major League roster. Trying to earn his spot on the opening day roster. It's like that will certainly help. Yeah, so I think he will develop as a pitcher. Obviously, pitching in Coors is never a sure thing if somebody will develop into a good pitcher. But I think he has the potential. I just think he's more of like a pitcher that's a couple years away from being a good Major League pitcher. Like if we took him and he was just a pitcher, right? Let's just say he had no hitting skills. I would still really like him as a pitcher. Only. But he'd be somebody that I wouldn't be counting on making the roster for a couple of years. But the fact that he's such a good hitter might bring that timeline up to where he's just going to have to learn on the fly.
No, that's a ball.
Yeah, the two-way players train everything. And I think, so his potential is 99, right? But his overall is based on what he is as a pitcher. So if we can train up his hitting a lot, he could get to like a 99 potential hitter and still be improving because his pitching isn't 99 yet. Because the game will say, oh, he hasn't reached his potential yet. When in reality, as a hitter, he already has. You know, he's a 99 overall hitter, maybe at some point. Jordan Beck. By at center. Which is why I think I'm going to focus on, training-wise, him as a hitter. Because if they're scaling off of his pitching, he can be an awesome hitter. This will probably be the last thing we see in this game. I wanted to see the order go through one more time. We are now at the end of the order here with Cerny. The pitching has been terrible. Omar Figueroa with a home run. We saw a few home runs. I think we saw kind of what we wanted here from this game. I wanted to check back in on Richie Covey. Actually, he's up to bat right now. We'll watch this at bat. There's Richie Covey. A hit and a walk so far. I wanted to check in on him again from the Athletics. This might be his last at bat as well in this game. Also, it was good to see Dolander. It wasn't good what he did, but it was good to find out that he still is struggling with the same things he struggled with last year. So we are aware of it. Strike three looking on Richie Covey. Prosecki doing better than Dolander so far, though still that's saying extremely little. We would end up making it pretty close. 11-8. Really been looking for a two-way player. Found one, but his splits lean towards starting pitcher. Yeah, so the game made this big, like, oh man, we're adding two-way players into the game, but 90% of the two-way players, A, a two-way player at all is very, very rare. But B, unless he's a generational player, every other two-way player I've seen is a terrible hitter, which just totally ruins the fun of having a two-way player. I'm not saying they need to be as good as Neil Dorsey hitting, but can they at least have a couple things in the 50s? A lot of these guys have ratings in the 30s and the 40s in their hitting, and I'm like, I don't want to waste a DH spot in my lineup on a guy who's going to be the worst hitter on the entire team, you know? Just so I can say I have a two-way player. So I feel like they did a pretty bad job with their non-generational two-way players. Let's make them a little bit more fun hitters, you know what I mean? Meneses would also end up homering in this game. And did I see Jordan Beck had 2 homers? I think he did, right? So, yeah, he's up to 3 home runs already in spring. Imagine he signs with the Dodgers. That would be fun. You know me, I love to have very difficult divisions. That would definitely make the division more difficult. So who do we want to see next? I kind of want to see Kyle Brown play for a little bit because he's kind of playing for a spot here. on the opening day roster? I don't care if it. Yeah, he doesn't. Yeah, he does. Not everyone needs to be hitting nukes, but can they at least be an on base guy, or can they at least be in a spot where it's fun to develop them? A lot of these hitters are like they're just too far away from being good hitters to really be fun. So Kyle Brown hitting in the 2 spot. So far, only 125 for Kyle Brown in spring training. Got to get that up, or else he'll be starting the season in AAA, which wouldn't be the worst thing. I'm fine with him starting the year in AAA if he has to. Yeah, Brown, he played really well last year. His first year was not great. Last year he was really solid both in AA and AAA. Earned this spring training invite. But now we got to see him. You watch every game? Certainly not. That would take a million years. So far, in the series, it's been... Are you talking about the stream or in the series? We're not going to watch every game of spring training for sure. We're probably going to watch a few Kyle Brown games and then we'll simulate a bit. See who we want to watch after that, who's having a good spring. But if you're talking about this stream, no, we'll watch... Most of the time, it's going to be more focusing on players. Good hit here by Kyle Brown, but couldn't quite leave the yard with it. Mostly, I like to do more player-focused stuff. We just started with a full game. Trying to find a good balance of watching and streaming games. That is the toughest thing for both baseball and basketball series for me. Finding that perfect balance in general. So... I like to watch at least one game per month, and then I also will like focusing on players a little bit as well. It's really it's a difficult balance to find. I wish I had like a great... There we go, Zach Veen, a 3-run homer. Let's might actually get Kyle Brown back up here. Nope, we're gonna have to wait one more inning. Zach Veen homered last game, homered again here. Rockies up 3-0. I don't think it's a one-size-fits-all. I think what might work for me won't work for the next guy. My general rule of thumb is Kyle Brown gets that one fair. Should be extra bases for Kyle. That guy does not have a very good arm. Whoever's in left field for Milwaukee, that was not a good throw. I think... Yeah, so if you find yourself getting like 4 or 5 years into a franchise or something like that and realizing that you just don't have the itch to continue, you're going too fast, right? It's because you're not getting as much investment into the players. So if you're finding yourself doing that more often, I would recommend watching more or playing more, whatever you prefer to do, watch or play. If you find yourself in like year 1 or 2 just kind of losing steam and just like this is taking too long, then you want to play less. That's my general thing. So try out a pace. If you're finding yourself again getting years into the franchise and just kind of losing interest in it, start to go slower. If you find yourself just kind of losing steam on it very early, go a little bit faster and continue to adjust that until you get to the point where you can play 5, 6, 7 years and really enjoy the entire time. Because it's a tricky balance, and again, it's what I do won't work for everyone. But that's kind of my general advice. And the thing with me is it's not the same every year either, right? We've been doing an episode a month, pretty much. And the reason is our major league team just hasn't had a lot of good players on it. Last year was the first year we really had any good players on it at all. But as we start to really get a roster that has a lot more players to focus in on, we're probably going to start slowing down. it's been like 6 or 7 episodes a season, we might be seeing more 9 or 10, maybe even, you know, above 10. It just kind of depends, because there's a lot of guys that I am invested in this franchise. I want to see their development, so we might start slowing down a little bit more here. In general, for me, I think the pace I've liked the most is somewhere between 7 and 10 episodes, which sometimes episodes consist of going into multiple games per regular season, and then playoffs, of course, are a whole different thing. Yeah, no problem. It's a tough balance. Like with Madden, it's pretty easy for me. I play/watch a game and then I sim a game, and that's just a very easy thing because those schedules are a lot shorter. But with these really long regular seasons, that is one of the tough things about franchise mode: finding just how much to play. And I got distracted. We're supposed to only be watching Kyle Brown here. We just watched like 4 extra batters. All right. Let's see, Kyle Brown could be coming up here. Unless we go 1, 2, 3, and Newman was hit. So Brown back up. 1 for 2. Was brought home last inning.
No, he's safe.
Who's your team in real life? I'm a relatively new like fan of baseball in general. Honestly, Mr. Hurricane's Rockies franchise and MLB The Show 21 was kind of my first introduction into it, and I didn't watch that as it was like coming out. I watched it later, so I first started playing the show in MLB The Show 22. Of course, first started making content on it in MLB The Show 23. So I don't know if I've like really narrowed down like this is what my team is. If I had to pick today, though, I do follow the Padres more than other teams. I think Fernando Tatis is just my favorite player in baseball. So I would say the Padres are on the short list of teams I could be a fan of. The Angels are on the short list of teams I could be a fan of. And then if the Braves weren't so good, I could do that as well, but because I really like Acuna as well. Mr. Hurricane guy, yeah, he's so good at his job. Like, I did not care about baseball at all, and I watched that MLB The Show 21 franchise, and I was like, hey, I should get MLB The Show, because that was when it just came out on Xbox as well on Game Pass, and so I was able to try it for free. And so, yeah, I would say if I had to say today, Padres, but I haven't like officially committed. Because the thing, when I commit to a team, I'm not changing ever. I committed to being an Eagles fan back in like the early 2000s. Haven't changed. Whereas being a Utah Jazz fan back in the Darren Williams days. Haven't changed. Yeah, his ability to narrate and like, I mean, I don't want this to be the Gas Mr. Hurricane stream as much as he obviously deserves it, but like in his Madden 21 Broncos franchise, like he got me to care more about the Dolphins than some other creators get me to care about like their main team that they're actually rebuilding. He's just very good at not only making you care about the team, but the league in general. Very good at his job. Need to be more open to developing see potential players into role players. Yeah, it's very easy to get excited about like the generational players and stuff. But getting excited about, you know, that fourth outfielder that can come in and be a pinch runner, or just like those very niche roles, right? That's a whole new level of investment. I'm into NFL more, but I haven't picked a team. You're a Knicks and Yankees fan. Makes sense. The Knicks. Jalen Brunson's been a still of a signing for them for sure. I'll admit to not thinking it was a great signing because at the time I thought he was being overvalued because he killed the Jazz in the playoffs, right? He killed the Jazz in the playoffs. And I was like, that's just going to overrate him because the Jazz defense was just atrocious and he's not going to be that good everywhere else. But turns out he actually was. So it's been an incredible signing for the Knicks. Honestly, watching baseball at this video game speed is very entertaining. And once again, keep forgetting that we're not actually watching this whole game. We're only here to watch Kyle Brown. Let's get back to another Kyle Brown at bat. Tough on the Randall out, though. Yeah, for sure. And just, I can't think of his name right now. The guy you guys got from the Raptors. Why can't I think of his name? I love him. All right, so we get, oh no, Kyle Brown's gone. I was going to say we get to see his clutch rating come in. Jalen Brunson's the Knicks have desperately needed Jalen Brunson for a long time. Just a point guard that you can just honestly root for and feel good about. And it was so weird the bad run the Knicks had at point guard. OG Anunoby, thank you. I don't know why I couldn't think of, like, I've been a big fan of OG for a while. I don't know, like the Knicks run at bad point guards was so incredible just because of how many good point guards came into the league, you know? But the Knicks just couldn't quite get it right. But they did in a big way with Brunson. I just love really good defenders because I think it's such a rare build. Like the Jaden McDaniels, love him too. So we didn't do a very good job of keeping track of Kyle Brown. I got distracted, which I'm going to blame on you guys, but in a good way. Let's get through February here. Let's just kind of see who's having a good spring, who we might be able to hop into. Ethan Solace not having a good spring. Chase Stolander, a 19.64 ERA. He's only played one inning other than the one that we've watched. Kopech sucks. Figueroa. We could watch some Figueroa. My goodness, our pitching is terrible. Let's actually sort. Jelly here in 4 innings is actually pitching incredibly well. So he was like a 65 overall when we got him in the Rule 5 draft. I decided to see what he was like as a starter because he had 68 stamina. His overall went up by like 9. So he's going to actually be a starter for us. I totally forgot to show you guys that. It was just something I was doing as I was setting up the spring training roster. I thought I'd give it a look. So, and he's actually pitching really, really well. So is Eric Lauer actually in 3 innings. I mean, these are very small sample sizes, of course. Brzezinski doing pretty solid as well. But our 3, best pitchers, quote unquote, are all absolutely atrocious so far. 16.62 for Curtis in 4.1 innings. My goodness. So far, Lozano in 3.1 innings has been really good. That's good to see. We gave him the spring training invite this year because he's 70 overall, which my threshold for bringing up a reliever is a lot lower than my threshold for bringing up a starter. So 70 overall is enough. I want to see how Ramirez is doing. 3.1 innings, pretty good. Less than a 1 whip. I'll take it. So let's maybe look at some Omar Figueroa games. We'll simulate another week. Now let's take a look at some Omar Figueroa games, shall we? 19.64 is wild. Yeah. He's been so bad. It's crazy. Let's make sure it's actually in the right spot. Partly cloudy for this game. We got Figueroa hitting in the 6th spot. Oh, he's down to 207. He is on an absolute cold streak. So is Murillo. Kyle Brown is starting to turn it around, though. I'm going to call an audible. We're going to watch another Kyle Brown game because he's actually on a hot streak. We're not going to watch Figueroa. We're going to watch Brown. We'll probably watch Figueroa at some point. because he's the other guy that's making his, you know, debut with the big league squad. I'm going to risk it here. Oh, maybe not. Oh, I should have risked it. Kyle Brown. Off to 278 so far. No home runs yet, only driven in 1 run. But he's starting to hit for a little bit of contact here, which is what we need him to do. He's not an excellent defender, so we need him to hit for contact. He's like the... I guess Clemente Herrera is kind of like that too, who we just got. We've been so focused on adding power that we don't have a lot of hit to contact guys, on base guys. Kyle Brown is one of them.
That's in. Ball 2.
Low in the zone. Kyle Brown fights it off, so it's a 2-2 count for Kyle. Stays in it. Some good fight. Going against John Gray, the guy from that Mr. Hurricane Rockies franchise we were talking about earlier. Lifts it into the outfield, but Evan Carter able to handle it easily. You know what? They hit right back to back. We're going to watch both of them. It's going to be the 2 new guys that we watch. Number 21, Colorado. He's not even a top 20 prospect for us, and that's because he has 75 potential. But he won't even be on the prospect list much longer. Although 207, I don't know. I just feel like even if he has a bad spring, we just got to keep him on the big league squad because it's not like we're going to help his development by keeping him in AAA. Like, his development depends on his potential being raised, because other than that, there is no development. And yeah, if he played in the minors, there's a better chance of that happening, but there's also a good chance he just starts to regress before he even... His A's franchise, well, I think was insanely good. I thought it was better than his Rockies franchise for sure. Not saying his Rockies franchise was bad, but he kind of tweaked his formula a little bit, and it was an insanely fun franchise to watch. And a lot of what I've tried to do, just kind of episode-wise, is stuff that I'm trying to emulate from that franchise. It's not a one-to-one thing, of course, because he plays the games. But picking up an RBI here for Kyle Brown. Good start. Now it's Figueroa's turn. That A's franchise, I think, if you ask me, is the best baseball content out there. He, of course, has also started the St. Louis Cardinals franchise along with Von Rye. So, a very different style. I'm interested to see what he does with the Cardinals this year for sure. I think that series is off to a good start as well. Oh, I guess we got to watch this pitch. Curveball right down the middle. Good pitch. At least he didn't swing on it. That's all that matters, right? This time I'm actually paying attention to the guys we're supposed to be watching instead of just watching everybody here. All right, Kyle Brown. Back up to the plate. 2 outs, 1 on first. Yeah, it's a little bit different. Because he actually, like, the A's in MLB The Show 23, I mean, I also did a franchise on the A's. We both got Vladimir Guerrero. I feel like everybody who did the A's franchise got Vladimir Guerrero. If I'm being honest, it was kind of funny. But last year, they had nothing. They didn't have great prospects, and they didn't have anybody exciting on their MLB roster. They just had Soderstrom. All right, Kyle. That runner in scoring position will bring his clutch into factor, but he looks at the circle change high and in tights. Paddock with a beautiful strike 3 pitch there.
Ball 4, take the base. You're out. 3.
Langford with a 3-run homer. Let's see if Figueroa can get a hit today. He's 0 for 2 so far. Soderstrom was good. Ruiz. I feel like he's better in this game than he was last game. I honestly liked my favorite non-Soderstrom guy on the base roster last year was actually Lawrence Butler. But he just didn't have any potential, but he was kind of fun.
Ball 1.
Yeah, baseball does make really good background noise. Absolutely. So Figueroa, 0 for 3. We'll see if he even gets a 4th plate appearance. Normally, that's when people get subbed out. We'll see if that's going to be the case this time as well.
You're out. Out. 3.
Yeah, he was a guy who didn't really sim well, but when I played with Lawrence Butler, because I actually played in that franchise. Yeah, we're going to start seeing a bunch of changes. Oh, my goodness. Yep, we are. All right, we'll see if Kyle Brown. Nope. All right. Yeah, we're simulating the rest of this one. I don't even think he got to 82 overall. My franchise, Lawrence Butler. But I could swing with the guy for sure. We got some good games in with Lawrence Butler. Not like incredible. But we got some good games in with Lawrence in that franchise. If I could really hit with was Ian Happ. Alright. Well, like I had like multiple games with like 3 or more hits with Ian Happ. That was like my first attempt at a franchise in MLB The Show 23. Kind of got maybe a little too excited. Made a couple really big trades. Should we watch Jelly hit pitch for a few innings? I think we should. He was our Rule 5 draft pick. He's pitching really well. Of course, 6'11". He's going to be making the start today. Kind of want to see him pitch a bit. 74 overall, B potential 29. He could be a guy that could stick around for a few years while our younger guys develop. If he can pitch well in Colorado, which is, of course, not an easy task. But so far, doing well in the spring. 9 innings pitched, 1 ERA, 0.67 whip. It's jelly time, exactly. Going against Bobby Witt, somebody who was in my athletics franchise. One of those probably overly eager trades I made. But he was a really fun leadoff guy for us in that franchise, and on the warning track, flies out. Yeah, the Royal, especially last year. I feel like he's actually a little bit better this year. He's still probably pretty gettable. But last year, Bobby Witt was not hard to get. Can't even remember what we gave up for him. I think I tried to give up more than the team was even asking for to make it a little bit more fair in those trades in that athletics franchise, but even still. Michael Garcia rips this one to right. It is gone. I think we're just bad luck for our pitchers, man. Could be our sliders. Our sliders might be a little too favorable to offense in this series, but we see low-scoring games as well at times. I actually haven't even thought about changing my sliders in a bit. Might be time to. But because our power is ranked up to 2 higher than the default. But that was just because last year's draft-only franchise had like so many like 1 to 2 games. I got tired of it by the end. I still think our sliders are in a pretty good spot. Oof, yeah. Whoever we watch, they're giving up homers. That's just. I mean, this spring training park is kind of a small park. I mean, we gotta be honest with that when we're talking about all these guys giving up home runs, because some of these are just barely over the wall when in real parks they wouldn't be. Some of them are crushed though. Jelly the Giants getting behind 3-1 here. I mean, look how big that guy is. Just look at, like, you're used to seeing somebody in high socks, but just look how tall those socks are. Those high socks take up so much space. Nice job on the strike 3, low in the zone by Jelly. Got that absolute unit of a stash as well. I mean, I hope it works out for Jelly. That'd be fun. Fun guy to have in the franchise for a while. Brent Rooker. Sorry, Brent Rooker. I said Brett. Somebody who can hit for absolute power when he's feeling it. Not much of a contact guy, though. He is hitting 281. What do you set your custom game entry settings to? I like to go when I have them on. I don't always have them on. I kind of take them on and off depending on what I want to do for the month. I have it in the middle between. Is it like the highest setting, which I believe is very high and high? I kind of put it right in the middle of those, and I do 7th inning or later. That's kind of my baseline one, but you know, that's flexible. Brent Rooker going yard, and we're just bad luck. We are bad luck, man. Whoever we watch is just going to be giving up nukes. I mean, we're single-handedly ruining Jelly's spring, man. He had a 1 ERA and a .67 whip heading into this inning. New idea. We watch only offense for the rest of this series. We just let the pitchers do their thing. Just kidding. I would never actually do that. All right, let's see if we can get the third out here. Freddie Fermin is having a really good spring so far. Over 1,000 OPS, 4 homers already. For a guy who's not the best offensive catcher. Although, to be fair, I have no idea how he's developed in this franchise. There are a lot of guys who I'm assuming they're like, what I know about their ratings is from like the base roster, though. We're several years into the franchise. Some of these guys could have developed in a big way. We're going against Cole Reagans, who was totally screwed over by MLB The Show with his base potential being C. I felt like it was pretty unfair after how he ended last year. I thought he should have been in the B's pretty easily. Not even just like low B. I felt like he at least should have been mid-B potential. Started off this year pretty well as well, at least from the games that I've actually seen. Jelly gets the throw on Sime over to first. One gone here, top of the second. Good first pitch there. I like guys that can paint the edges of the zone here early to get ahead. Now he's ahead 0-2. You can do whatever you want. Probably shouldn't hang a curveball, though, although it was inside, to be fair. But it'll give up the single. MJ Melendez on an absolute heater in Bengals franchise, his Royals franchise this year. Love that you can get two-way players. Yes, they are very rare, though. And if they're not generational, they're not always good, but I hope you get some good two-way players, especially to replace Otani, for sure. Replacing Trout will be fun. Trading him to start the rebuild. That's what should happen. That's what the Angels should do in real life as well. As soon as Otani was gone, it's clear that the Angels should kickstart that rebuild. Another Angels, I mean, we're talking about a lot of other creators, but Stumpy's doing an Angels rebuild here on YouTube. Really like Stumpy's channel. I think he does not have nearly as many subscribers as he should have. He does some expansion NBA 2K series that I think are as good as it gets for 2K for sure. At least in my opinion. With swinging at that one well inside. So we're back top of the order. That one was left over the middle. You can't make that mistake against Bobby Witt. It's gone. All right, I think we're done watching pitching this spring. We are bad luck for our pitchers. Dang, man. He was doing great, and then in an inning and 2/3, he's allowed 3 home runs when we watch. So maybe Dellender's not that bad after all. Oh my goodness. Yeah, let's get through this one. I don't think we want to watch. We don't want to ruin Jelly's spring any more than we already have. So we would lose 5-1 here in this game. Oh boy. All right. For Strider and Harris. Strider and Harris, that's a good duo. All right. What do we want to watch next? Let's simulate this week. What do we want to watch next? Murillo's not hitting for average. Neither. My goodness, we are terrible this spring. Dollander looks like he's actually starting to pick things up. I mean, he's down to he's in the single digits with his ERA now. So there's that. I think we want to watch. What's a position player we want to watch? I mean, Joey Meneses is killing it for us. Good night. He's kind of old. I don't know if we need to watch him. Sterling Thompson's doing all right. We could check in on him. Zach Veen hitting 315. Let's watch some Zach Veen. And another game against the Royals today. You know, going back to your trade. Yeah, for a lot of people, being realistic is important, but at the end of the day, the most important thing in franchise, are you having fun? That's what the game is for, to have fun, right? Some people only have fun if it's realistic. Some people don't care about realism. A lot of people are somewhere in the middle, where you want to at least be tied to realism, but every now and then you can get a trade for a couple of, you know, some of your favorite players. I think that's perfectly fine. Was the Padres getting rid of Ethan Solace super realistic? I don't think it was. Look at those moves by Murillo. We just find a nickname, Rafael Moves Murillo. I mean, dude was dancing.
Ball four, take your base.
All right. Well, another terrible start. Pitching against the Royals. Hey, Murillo with a homer. Line out for Figueroa. Bring up Veen. You start in spring? No, you do not. The scouting starts the same week no matter when you start. It'll be fun. I'd love to get more scouting weeks. Adds to the challenge of MLB The Show's scouting system, though, is you have very limited resources. You get 14 weeks every season no matter what. Grounder here for Veen to start out this game. Not next at bat. We need to do next half inning. And we're getting just beat down on both sides. We're going against Reagan's again. Double here for Solace. Let's go. He absolutely needed that. All right, Veen back up. It's 4-2. One man on. I mean, to be fair, this probably isn't the best game to come in and look at Veen. He's much worse against lefties. I shouldn't say much worse. Obviously, as a lefty batter, you'd prefer to see him go up against some righty, which we will. We're not going to watch Veen for just one game. We'll watch a few games of Veen, I think. He, of course, had that bottom of the ninth grand slam in his debut. Was an awesome moment so far in this franchise. One of my favorites. Oh, almost gets hit there. You did not watch his debut episode. I'm sure everyone in here probably has. But if you haven't, I would recommend it. Oh, strike three looking. Reagan's a very good strikeout pitcher. So far 0 for 2, but hopefully Veen will have to face Reagan's again. All right. Although Veen might not get another at-bat, to be fair. We'll see. Yeah, it's the 7th inning. Everyone's getting subbed out. We'll see if that's the case for Veen. Sure it will be, though. I have to click next at-bat like 7 times to get it to actually work. No, Veen is still out here. If you were to simulate March to October in franchise, how would you do it? I'm not very familiar with the March to October game mode, if I'm being honest. I watched like 2 episodes of a franchise on it, and it looked kind of like looked really similar to franchise mode. So I don't actually know the difference. If you could explain that to me, I could probably tell you how I'd at least do it at the start. I might buy lefties and righties normally. Yeah. Have you ever changed the character stances or gear? Oh, yeah. Have you ever drafted a sidearm pitcher? I think we had one in our Chicago White Sox series. Maybe it wasn't a full sidearm, but we had a pitcher that threw absolute heat. It might not have been true sidearm, but it was a very horizontal release. What was that guy's name? I forget. But yeah, I change almost everyone's gear. If I click on a player and the gear looks pretty good, then I'll usually keep it. But if I look in and it's like, nah, that looks too bland, or if it's a guy that, you know, we drafted very highly and I have a lot of high hopes on, I always change gear. Gear, numbers, and I'll always check their stance. And it's another thing. If it looks just too generic and it's a player I'm really excited about, I'll change that. But if it looks personalized, I'll usually keep it for guys. But as much as I try to avoid editing stuff like ratings or whatever, even though we did it with one of our picks this year, gears, numbers, stances, I have no qualms editing those. And I think it just makes those players a little bit more fun, right? If they look cool, the aesthetic is something that, at least for me, helps. I know some people don't care about like how a player looks at all. For me, I do. I like a player to, you know, you look good, you feel good. You feel good, you play good. I believe in that. Like Murillo, we definitely changed. Clemente Herrera, we definitely changed his look from what they started with. We're going to go through the end here. Murillo 2 for 4 today with a home run. Kind of needed a good. But so far in this series, we don't have a sidearm pitcher. Cool to get one. Let's take a little look at Arizona. I believe we faced them on opening day. A little preview here. It's hard to explain. Yeah, I'll have to just take a look at it. I feel like it's... Yeah, I have very limited knowledge of that mode. Yeah, adding a pitch to pitchers, I think also makes sense in a lot of cases. Let's get through this pitch so I can actually get to Vane here. Oh, we're going against the lefty again. Can I get? We're just simulating this game. I want to see Vane against a righty. Jeez, our pitching in spring has been atrocious. It's truly worrying. Holy crap. Adding a pitch. Change up curve, so I added it and made it pretty bad. Yeah. That's what I'm like. If you add a pitch but make his control on it lower than like his other pitches, I think that's perfectly fine as well, because pitchers can learn new pitches and it's not like a big thing. All right. Can we finally get a righty to play, to watch some Vane at bats, please? There we go. Vane's hitting fourth, which means we're going against a righty. Down to 274. Still pretty good for Vane, I would say. All right. Let's get Murillo a hit here. Nope. We'll have to see him at the top of the second inning. So Vane. 274, a few homers. Tied for third in RBIs on the team for the spring.
Nope, that's inside.
First round pick back in 2020, which was many years ago now in this franchise. De La Cruz. Yeah, I remember like in the ratings reveal show, they said that Ellie De La Cruz like started lower, but he'd probably go up pretty quick, so that makes sense. Yeah, that's kind of the new wave of baseball. It's like hit homers or strike out or walk. I still think a good on-base guy is good to have. Swinging low, so we've got ourselves a full count for Vane. Bites it off, so he will extend the at-bat. Three-two. Lifted up by Vane, but I mean, that center fielder barely had to move an inch to snag that one. So far, we haven't like been very good luck. Might have to just watch a full game here soon. Yeah, Ali De La Cruz is a very fun player to have in this game. There we go. Murillo with the leadoff single. Brings Veen back out. The arm strength, I love like a massive arm and the fun plays you can have on defense with a big arm in this game. So De La Cruz, the speed as well, good combination. That's why I'm very excited about Clemente Herrera, who of course we took their second pick this last year's draft. I find it so rare to find a guy with like actually a good arm in this game that's not like a terrible prospect everywhere else. So I'm excited about Herrera. I think we might see him making some good plays. Whether he ends up being our long-term right fielder, which I would guess right now, or our long-term third baseman, he's going to have the arm to make plays at either. The diving play could not be made, so Veen with a single. I mean, that almost was an awesome play. Just couldn't quite finish it. And then Kyle Brown does a nice job. Sacrifice fly for... All right, this is a good inning for the offense. Kopech, so far pitching pretty well. All right. 2 gone and the man in scoring position here, top of the 5th. Probably his last at-bat today. Last game 0 for 4 at the K. Glad we didn't watch that. Gavin Williams pitching 71 pitches in spring, huh? Cleveland keeping him out here for all 5 innings so far. Light chopper to second. Will end off the inning. I guess we're keeping Kopech out there as well. Oh, there we go. Gavin Williams still out there. We'll see if they change him now here for the 6th. Figueroa, 2-run homer. All right. Yeah, we're starting to bring people in. We'll see if Veen gets another at-bat. No, he does not. So, there you have it. Another one in the books. All right, you guys let me know. Who or what do you want to see? Do you want to see a complete game, or do you want to see us focus in on a player? If so, who should we focus in on? Omar Figueroa, who looks way whiter than he actually is on this screen. What the heck? He literally looks white in this screen. Or just a weird angle thing for me. He looks way lighter than he should be on that screen. You guys let me know what you want to see here. We're getting close here to the end of spring training. Probably got a couple more things we can do before the end. Do we want to see Dolander get another try? Do we want to see... We haven't really seen much of Murillo. Hasn't been great in the spring, despite a really good start. You could try to get some more Kyle Brown action. 288, no home run so far. Last game of spring training, make it a full game. Okay, we can watch the full game of the last one against Milwaukee. I actually do want to watch Milwaukee because I want to show you guys. Rene Bautista. Really fun player on the 40. He's the best prospect that is on the MLB roster for his team, so we might see him. Still not on the 40-man for Perry, so he's still tradable. Let's simulate through this week. Oh my goodness, we're losing a bunch. All right. Let's see. I think... Really hoping the starting pitching doesn't get shelved this time. I wouldn't be very hopeful. Murillo just has not hit any homers. He had 2 home runs the first game. He has 1 home run since. I want to watch some Rafael Murillo just because I feel like whenever I watch him, he plays well, and I need to watch some people hit, man. I'm seeing too many flyouts, strikeouts. I want to see someone hit, baby. Let's watch Murillo. Solace under 200 in the spring, man. After what he did last spring, that's kind of disappointing. But it's just spring. As long as it doesn't carry over, I think we'll be chilling. Let's watch some Rafael Murillo, and then we'll get to the last game. All right, so men on first and second for Rafi moves Murillo.
Ball, that's out.
See if we can get that average up here. Get a little momentum going ahead of the new season. Really hoping he can build on what was a really strong rookie campaign.
Ball, that's off the plate.
Hit it hard, but scorched foul. 2-2 the count. Woo, 15 pitches here into the inning, and what is that swing, Rafi? That was not a good start at all. My goodness.
Ball 4, take your base.
So, got some guys on base, just couldn't bring any of them home. Got a walk, double play, nice job, Solace. Man, our team is looking rough in the spring. There's Murillo. He's going to get on base there. Off the glove. Would have been a sick play at short. He had gloved that and got the throw on time. There we go. Not much power there, but we got him on base. Figueroa's hitting pretty nice here. 4 straight hits. When scouting, do you look at team rank first or MLB before picking the region you scout first? I go by MLB rank, typically. Yeah, just go through that. I go through like the top 75-ish of the MLB rank. And see just which regions have a bunch of players. All right, Rafael. Bit of homer, shall we? It's been a minute. Last time I was looking at Rafael Murillo, he had 2 homers. 5.9 WAR last year. He was so good. Pretty much the lone bright spot on a terrible team. This one might get him on base with a single again, and it will. Once again, a diving attempt at shortstop. Just couldn't make it. Not showing the power, but getting that average up, which I'll take. It's more than we've been seeing for a lot of this stream. Tied 2-2 now as Wu has orange energy already. I guess it is the 6. For some reason I thought we weren't that far through the game. So now it's in the territory of will we actually see Murillo? Oh, Chavis with a solo shot. There we go. Will we see Murillo hit again? We will not. So a couple of singles. Not bad. Multi-hit game, you'll take it. In the extras, and the Rockies win. Locklear, a 3-run homer in extras. You love to see it. Meneses, 2 for 5, home run, player of the game. So far, that's looking like a pretty solid Rule 5 selection for us in spring. Was hoping he could add some excitement to the offense, and it's looking like he might do just that. Let's watch one more Millo game here. Let's not watch it against Arizona, though. We're going to play them next episode. Also, we played Texas. Let's go against Cincinnati. So this will be the last game we play before the last game of spring training. And then we'll be done. 10-18 so far, not looking great. Going against Nick Lodolo on the mound, and the strikeout single. Let's see a good homer. It's been a minute. Going against the lefty. Murillo likes playing lefties. He's got 91 contact versus lefties. His power is actually a little worse, but got that average up to 259. This one's gonna be fly out to right. Not a good throw in by that right fielder though, geez. It's going to be interesting once this series gets to the point where a lot of generated guys are actually playing. Because there aren't a lot of guys that have strong arms of the generated guys. Might see some bad outfielders. Arms-wise, at least. Nice. 1-2-3 inning by the offense. You love to see it. All right. Rafael, it's time to do something. Strike 2 evens up the counts. Ooh. Good take there. That one was close. And there you go, Rafael Murillo. With the homer, we've been waiting for that. 431 feet on it. Just an absolute blast from a guy with a ton of power. That'll knock this game up at 1 apiece in the top of the 4th. Boom, indeed. This guy, when he hits homers, he can hit them pretty dang deep. Especially at course. Highest discovery guy. So no, I'll discover whatever region I'm scouting first for pitchers. I'll put my discovery guy in the same one, so that as I'm discovering them, I'm instantly scouting them. All right. But for discovery, I leave it there for 3 to 4 weeks, whereas on the pitchers that I'm actually scouting, I'll leave it there for 5 or 6. And then when you're done discovering that area, that's when you find what the second best area is, so you can get a little bit ahead of discovering pitchers for that second area. I forgot Chisholm went to the Reds. The Reds are going to be a fun team. I think I want to check them out at some point in this regular season. Almost accidentally skipped Murillo at bat. Andrew Abbott will pitch against Murillo. Another lefty.
That's the ball.
But when you go to position players, I usually do international first. And he's done it again. Whenever we watch Rafael Murillo, the dude shows up. He shows up in simulation as well. But I have watched 4 of his 5 homers. He has not shown as much power in simulation this spring, but he had 2 in the first game, which I watched to get the thumbnail off stream. and then 2 in this game. I love this guy. Obviously, there's a lot of excitement about Neil Dorsey in this franchise, as there should be, but I still think this is Rafael Murillo's team until proven otherwise. In my Reds franchise, I'm looking for outfield, and all my drafts are pitchers / infields. Yeah, there's... Unfortunately, like, other than discover outfield and get lucky there, you kind of just gotta... Or, like, what I did. So, if it's a lot of infielders, if there's a third baseman with a strong arm that looks like he could play a good right fielder, I'm okay just because I think this game doesn't do a good enough job of creating good secondary positions. I'm okay changing a guy's position. If you don't like that, then you're probably just gonna have to go to the trade market. Or like for Clemente Herrera, he was listed at the third base. He didn't have right field as his secondary position, but just the skill set made so much sense in right field that I was okay with changing it. So if you want to do something like that, maybe there's a shortstop or something, or a second baseman that could actually look really good in center. Or there's a third baseman, like I said, that could be a good corner outfielder, something like that. Like Tatis, yeah. Like he was an infielder, and then they put him out in right field, and he was incredible. So there is precedent that it happens in real baseball as well. So if you're willing to do that, then yeah, just look for kind of outfielders' skill sets in these infield heavy drafts.
That's ball 4. 3. Now batting. Designated hitter.
I know some people are against changing position, which is fine. Murillo is done, so we'll be done watching this game. How's it going? QB 15? Imagine that's a Patrick Mahomes reference, but I could be wrong there. Rockies have defeated the Reds 5-3. We're doing well. We're about to wrap up this stream. We got one more game we're going to watch. As my head's kind of getting itchy, I think I'm just going to take the hood off. There we go. Generation second base you have as outfield as options.
The final line score for the ball game this afternoon for the victorious Rockies: 5 runs on 9 hits, no errors. They left 10.
Can't find if I should discover international first. Oh, you're talking about for position players? I feel like I've had the best luck in international and central for discovering position players. Not to say that it's always going to be there, right? Because discovery, it's really just playing a game of chance. Is really what discovery is. I still think it's very worth it, because even if you have a draft where you don't discover somebody, you're also just equally probably not going to find somebody, you know, ranked by the MLB outside the top 100 that's really good at position players. So I always think, oh no, I just simulated the game on accident. I think what we can do is quickly do this. I actually simulated the game. There we go. Well, now we can play this game. My bad. Nickname you have from high school? Okay, gotcha. All right. Partly cloudy. Let's hop into the last game of spring training. Up his arm and shift him to the left. Yeah, you could do something like that. I generally think that as long as the skill set makes sense, that changing, especially like a generated player's position, isn't a massive deal. Brewers are 15-13 here in spring. Hopefully we get to see some Rene Bautista. We're going to see Michael Kopech on the mound. Very much a pitcher with ups and downs. We have not seen very good pitching so far in spring. Can that change with Kopech today? Not doing great. Our pitching all around in spring has been terrible. Hey, here he is. Rene Bautista hitting leadoff. Run to Fenway. Nice. It's a nice park to go to in person for sure. All right. Nice to see we're going to get that call. Well, hopefully we get it consistently. And And blowing by him for strike 3. A good start for Kopech.
The third baseman, Andrew Monasterio.
Found more second baseman from International. Now, depending on how good your Discovery Scout is, you'll usually find the best players within a couple weeks. That's not always the case. Like, I've done a lot of testing off my franchises, and sometimes it'll take like 3 or 4 weeks to find a good player in Discovery. That's pretty rare. Most of the time, you're going to find the best players. If you have a really good Discovery Scout, you're going to find the best players in that area within 2 weeks of discovering there. For pitchers, I always recommend adding another one just because you discover so many players per week as pitchers. But for position players, I rarely go over 2 weeks in the same area with the same position group. Montessario. 2-2 here. A contact speed defense pick. Yeah, I that's honestly, so if I'm ranking my needs, I mean, we're getting some calls here, but Kopech's pitching well to start. That's one of the skill sets I really like. If I could get that at like shortstop, and that could move Rafael to third or second, because Rafael, his defense isn't terrible, but I also think we could do better defensively at shortstop or center field. If I could get that kind of skill set, I would love it. Kind of like Jason Lindsay, who we decided not to take. That's one of the skill sets. Also, if we could get a first baseman, I know we literally just drafted Omar Figueroa, but that was always a short-term solution. I could get, those are kind of the two skill sets I want in my position players. Is a kind of leadoff style hitter that plays good defense. Red Sox had money, so I revamped the whole scouting. Nice. So I'm hoping we can find one of those two. We got the 4th pick in this draft. We could find either a sick first baseman that hits nukes or a kind of on base running defensive player. I'd take either of those skill sets for sure. I always like hearing when you guys have good drafts following the scouting strategy, or just close to it. I'm not saying you have to follow my scouting strategy 100%. That's just the way I prefer to do it. But it's always nice to hear that it's working for other people as well. Solace up here. Can we get a good game to finish off what has been a pretty rocky spring training for Solace? Unfortunately, we're not getting an umpire that's going to help the hitters. Although, for the sake of my sanity watching our pitching this spring training, I'd like a umpire that's going to help our pitching out a little bit.
Inside, ball 2.
Solace at 2-1 and make that 3-1 here with a fastball low in the zone. On deck is Murillo, who we just saw hit a couple of homers a couple games ago. Chopper foul will make this a full count. Cranked it, foul. Good fight here from Solace. What is this now? 7 or 8 pitches in this at bat. There we go. Ethan Solace crushes this ball to right center field. No doubt about it on the home run. That'll be a 2-run shot for Solace. He needed that. We need a good send-off to spring that can hopefully you know, propel him to have a good start into the season. And there you have it. Just crushed that ball. Oh, the sound off the bat was beautiful. 423 feet off the scoreboard. Millo up to 5 home runs in the spring, which puts him tied for second. See if he can put himself in sole possession of second place.
That's foul.
Murillo has certainly heated up 5 for 12 here in the last few games.
2 strikes.
That's what we want to see. Guys who maybe haven't had the best springs, if they can at least finish off strong, I can maybe pull forward into the regular season. Murillo gonna get a little bit underneath this one. It looks like out near the warning track. It is hauled in by Bautista. I'm surprised they actually have him playing center field. Bautista is not a good fielder at all. He should probably be left field only. He's all offense for sure.
Ball. That's inside.
12 runs for Veen. Nice. Down to 221. He has been the opposite. He had a pretty good start to spring, and he has cooled off entirely. That is unfortunate for Zach. He was hitting above 300 just a couple weeks ago. Not going to be able to get back on track on this one. Adames settles underneath it.
Second baseman,
Kyle Brown. The question is, has he played well enough in this spring to earn a spot on the opening day roster? Average is in a good spot. Not really providing much power at all. That's not his game. So his OPS is under 700. Not drawing a ton of walks either. He's just hitting for decent contact. That's really all he's doing. Not a great fielder. I'm kind of on the fence about it, whether or not he should be on the opening day roster. He might benefit from just a little bit more development in AAA. That would allow Ryan Bliss to play with us for a little bit longer, and I think Ryan Bliss has done pretty solid for us. But he just wasn't very good at hitting contact last year, Bliss. Solace, though, the 2-run blast, putting the Rockies on top early.
leading off for the Brewers, the shortstop, Willie Adames.
Adames. It's this one well through the infield. Right back at Kopech. Interested to see what that velocity was. 106 miles off the bat there for Adames. Luckily, we held him to just a single, though. Another hard hit ball. 2 pitches, 2 hits. Veen with the throw to first, and the runner will hold at third, but 2 guys in scoring position with no one gone. Not a good spot here for Kopech. He does have excellent pitching clutch, so that's something to keep in mind here. In the 90s. That is his biggest strength. We'll see what Sal Frelick can do. Need a strikeout or a infield fly here. Or something hit like right at Sterling Thompson. He could tag that third baseman as well. Here we go. We get the infield fly. That's a big out, but we need another one.
The right fielder, number 5, Garrett Mitchell.
Hit to the ground. Murillo throws it accurately. It will bring in a run, though. It was always going to be hard to avoid at least one of those runs coming in with no outs. Hoping we could do it, though. up against Terang, hitting right at that Mendoza line.
Nope. Ball one, no strike. That's ball two. 2 balls, no strike.
Two one pitch is just beneath the zone. Owen Miller on deck, who's been hitting actually really well for a guy hitting in the 9 spot so far in spring. So you'd love to end the inning here. And we're not going to do it. Veen going to throw home, see if we can avoid the run. And no, just missed. It was a pretty good throw from Veen. For a second, I thought he might get him out. Solace had to reach back behind him just a little bit too much to get the out there. So Owen Miller, what a spring for him. Brewers got to be really excited what they're seeing.
I got 1 ball, 1 strike. Ball 2.
Solace will not get the throw in time. That'll put a runner in scoring position. That does help Kopech, though. Again, that pitcher clutch now replaces his hits per 9, which is an upgrade. Kopech lucky there. Missed that one a little bit over the plate, but it goes foul. So you got a 2-2 count. That one's popped up. Should be gloved by Figueroa to end the inning, but a 2-run answer by the Brewers in the second. Runner on second, top second, 2-2 game, 2 outs. 2 outs. Too many 2s to handle. See what Figueroa can do. He's had a pretty solid spring. Not hitting great for average, but we've seen a couple extra base hits from our guy.
Ball, that's inside.
Just started my Angels rebuild. Holy crap, their scout budget is awesome. Did they change? I thought everybody had the same. Is it not? You should be able to afford... I think it's... It might not be that way. I actually haven't checked. Last year, it was every single team had 300,000. So you could get... If you could get 3 guys that exactly had 100,000, you could get all 3 guys. But it might not be that way this year. I actually have not verified that. Whoa. Digging way low there. A little golf swing from Omar Figueroa. So you can afford more than that, because I think 300,000 is enough to get, for the most part, what you need. But if you can get even more than that, then yeah, you can afford whoever you want, man. Or are you talking about your signing budget? Because that is different for every team, how much you can actually allocate to signing draft picks. Like, signing draft picks has not been a problem for us in the Rockies rebuild. I remember a couple of times when I did the Athletics, we were getting close to our max signing budget. But, like, we just had a generational player asking for a ton of money last time, and we had millions left over of our signing budget. Figueroa just gets sniped of a hit there. He hit that one well. Don't forget to give Rendon 4 days off in a row. Stuff like that where people have What am I trying to think of? Like very specific individual schedules. Be fun if you could add that in the game. That would probably be something pretty difficult to add though. Like Fujinami, was it Fujinami Saturdays last year that didn't really last all that long because he didn't do particularly well. That's kind of stuff you're gonna have to take control of manually. But it's tough to do that in a 162 game season, you know, to make sure a guy only pitches on Saturdays or a guy gets 4 days off. These old guys, you know, they need their rest. Or pitchers that have their own set catchers, stuff like that. Exactly. Meneses, probably been our best player in spring. He's hitting 365. He strikes out here. Hitting some homers as well. So far, that's looking like a great pickup for us, even though it's just, you know, a 1-year deal, of course. He's 34. He's not going to be a long-term player for us, but if he could have a good season for us, I'll take it, man. If he's having a really good season, we could maybe even include him in a trade because we don't have to trade people. You know, the people that we trade don't have to be prospects. We have to trade for people that are prospects, of course. So if he can get some good trade value, we can include him in a trade. Wouldn't be the worst. Although I don't know if he's going to be involved in, because I kind of want to do our second trade here early on in the season, I feel like. I don't know if he'll have drummed up enough trade value with a good season to really do it. But I think I'm ready to make trade 2. It's just a matter of who we target of the pitchers that we like, which I'm still like our first trade. It was between 2 guys. I just put it up to a vote. Might have to do that again between like, do we trade Dolander for what's that guy's name? Shelley? Whatever that guy's name is. I'm forgetting it right now. Of course, if we add him, I'll remember his name. There's certainly Ungerer fans. I know that he's got a good skill set. And he's from Colorado, which I think gives him a bonus. I have it between 3. Do we trade Dolander for Shelley? It's Shelley. Or do we trade for Ungerer, or do we trade for the lefty Snelling? I'll probably, maybe in the opening day episode. Whenever I've asked for you guys to vote in the comments for something, you guys have killed it, so we do it again. And there we go. Cerny goes down. Good pitch there to end the inning. Got Rene Bautista back up for Milwaukee. Falling behind Bautista here. Bautista just fouled there. A nice diving catch by Figueroa. He's got pretty solid defense, you know, for a first baseman who's in the 70s overall. And he swung at that. Let's go. Solace makes the easy throw, and he's out. That's the problem with Dolander. Dolander has always simmed very well. Even that month of September when he was on the big league squad, he simmed pretty well, but he just cannot perform every single time we watch. Which, and I'll say it again, simming is much more important for the regular season, right? Because no matter how much we watch, we would have to watch an insane amount for, you know, the simming to be less important than how they play when we watch in the regular season. The problem is once we go to the playoffs, I'm going to watch every single thing in the playoffs. So how someone performs when we watch is going to be important. And ultimately, if we want to build a championship team, they have to be good when we watch them, right? So keeping Dolander helps us sim well in the regular season, helps us get to the playoffs. But once we get there, if he continues to be not good. But the other benefit, of course, of a guy who sims well is his ratings are going to go up a lot, right? His ratings are going to go up, and eventually they might get to a point, because he still has a potential. Eventually they could get to a point where he's good when we watch him too. That one is gone. William Contreras. The homer to give Milwaukee the lead. So we might just have to keep him based off that. Because if he continues to sim well, increase his ratings, there's a good chance that eventually he'll be good when we watch as well. It's just not the case right now. To the point where I honestly think it might be best for Dolander to maybe not watch him at all this year in his back-to-back homers. Unless it goes foul, it goes foul. Luckily for us. 7.3 feet outside the pole. Yeah, it kind of depends on when that... Because if he still has a couple years to increase his ratings before we make the playoffs, I think it'll be at least... We're not making the playoffs this year, and I don't think we're making the playoffs next year. The earliest I could see us making the playoffs would be 2 seasons from now. Yeah, if he could, you would think, but like he's playing like for a guy who has 60 plus right now, he's playing like a guy who I would expect to have like in the 40s. Now Kopech is getting absolutely rocked right now, man. Oh my goodness. It was a decent start. I thought he started the game pretty well. But it's falling apart, man. Our pitching. Hey, I knew what I was getting into when I did a Colorado Rockies franchise. The problem is none of this is in Colorado. This is in, what is it? Where is spring training? Arizona? Kind of looks like Arizona. I don't know. Feels like Arizona would be a good spot to do spring training.
Inside, ball one.
Yeah, I want to keep Dolander, but man, he has been so bad for last year into this year, and he swung on a pitch that hit him. Nice. At least he got the last laugh, but Milwaukee was laughing at him a bunch that inning.
Leading off for the Rockies, the third baseman,
Question is, who is our opening day starter? You go on overall, it's Dolander, but again, I don't know if I want to watch a Dolander game to start the year. Next up would be Kopech. He was our opening day starter last year. And when we won. We're actually, despite the fact that we're terrible, we've won both opening days that we've watched. Of course, in year one, we did not watch opening day. Probably Kopech or maybe even Jelly. We'll see how his spring turned out. It'd be fun to have a Jelly, the giant opening day start. This one just hit softly the third. Thompson's going to go down. All right. Let's get... Kopech looks good. Yeah, except for that inning. Kopech is always boom or bust. I think he's probably the favorite to be our opening day starter, though. Like, Kopech has great innings and terrible innings. He's kind of on brand with Colorado, to be honest. He was good enough last year, barely, to stay on the roster.
Ball one. One ball, two strikes to count.
But our pitching in general was atrocious last year. It's going to be again this year, unless Dolander can be our savior. Pop fly. Should be handled by Adames. I got this massive water bottle the other last week. I've been loving it. All right, Murillo. Yeah, the Giant on the mound could sell tickets for sure. Jelly the Giant. Probably between those two. I don't think we can do a Dolander, even though he's our highest overall pitcher. It's just, I gotta see him have a good start.
One ball, one strike.
It's been far too long. I remember, like, when we looked at Dolander
That's a ball.
the first couple of years, he was always killing it. And now it's just something changed. Let Murillo. Bitch. I mean, he does carry the team. I mean, this guy is impressive. Rafael Murillo. Just make Murillo a two-way player so we have two of them. This guy is impressive, man. I love Murillo so much. Definitely my favorite player that I've drafted in MLB The Show. Like, on franchise, like in my franchise, off the channel, whatever. I love this guy. Hopefully Neil Dorsey can pass him, because Neil Dorsey, of course, certainly has the potential to be the best player I've ever drafted with being a two-way player. And I just glossed over the fact that that was an excellent play at first, by the way.
Leading off from Milwaukee, the right fielder, number 5.
Rafael Mound Murillo.
Ball, that's out.
I kind of like moves Murillo though. He was moving at whatever that game that we hopped in was. Yeah, you gotta hydrate. Well, I've had this water bottle forever. I still have it here. But whenever you suck in the water, it makes this terrible sound. And so I hated bringing it to my office because whenever I drank water, I was making this terrible sucking sound. But this one's silent. And it's much bigger. So I can just not have to go for a refill as often.
Right. Terrain.
So I've been liking the purchase so far. Nice little slider there. All right, two really good pitches here to start this AB. Yeah, I mean, there's a chance Dolander wants out. There's always a chance that a pitcher just is trying to get his way out of Colorado. Oh, just beat it. Strike out, wild pitch. Just unlucky bounce off the rip. How close was that? Ooh, that was really close. Bang, bang play there. Hopefully it doesn't happen with Barreto.
All ones the count.
We need Barreto to be somebody that can pitch in course. If we can just have like two good pitchers in our rotation, I'll take the fact that we're not going to have this crazy good rotation. But if we can have two guys, maybe three out of the five that pitch well in course, I think we're going to be happy with that. And then we just build this offense that we've been building around them that I think can win you some of these, you know, high scoring games.
2 balls, 2 strikes.
Goes back to episode, what is it, 0? Or was it 1 that I said, we're looking for power. Pitching and play skills is going to be kind of the focus of the rebuild. So far, I think we've done pretty good at adding those 3 things, honestly. And we've gotten lucky with our high draft picks. We've found some really good players.
Up next from Milwaukee.
Although you could argue we also got a little bit unlucky not getting a generational player to fall. But we got Jose Barreto in his place, which is pretty much generational as well with 99 potential. And that one is safe. Solace has not been able to throw out many of these guys. I do have the stealing sliders bumped up quite a bit. Rose the first guy and last guy out, lunch bell kind of guy. Yes, he is. He cannot betray us. That would be a heartbreak. There's one. If we could just have one pitcher workout, it's got to be a Barreto. If we draft a guy that's 74 overall, 99 potential, and 18 years old, and he still doesn't work in Colorado, we're doomed, baby. We're not building the pitching room that's going to be successful. That can't work. Nothing can. Oh yeah, but going back, we have bumped up the steal sliders a bit to make it easier to steal. So that could be playing a role here in some of Salad not being able to beat out some of these throws. But we've seen our team get caught stealing quite a bit still with these sliders. Although, to be fair, as Kyle Brown will get in for a single, to be fair, our team is not very good. Like, that's just the skill set we have not prioritized yet so far in this franchise. We've been focusing a lot more on power. We have on guys that can steal bases.
Ball, that's just out.
That's one thing I like about the show, though, compared to some of the other games. 2K has this as well with their tendencies. This is one thing that I wish Madden would be a little bit better. Like, sometimes some guys have the ratings and they're still not going to be very good. Or some guys, they don't have the great ratings, but they'll be good. That's just, there's a lot of randomness to it. That adds a little bit of a challenge. Like, I looked at Dolander, said, oh man, this guy could be our future ace back in episode 1. Even as of episode 10, I thought that, you know? But now it's looking like he's closer to being traded than he is a future ace. Probably ends up being neither. I was a betting man. Want to keep at least a couple of episode 1 prospects on the team. Figueroa gets that through the infield. Brown should stay at second. And he will. So 2 on, no one out. That'll bring up Meneses. He's got that 99 clutch, and that will come into play here with a man in scoring position. I'm kind of liking Omar Figueroa. Rally time indeed. Come on, Joey. Show us something here. Good first pitch there. Hard to do much against that. 360 average, 1100 OPS, 5 home runs, 13 RBIs in spring. The best hitter in spring for the Rockies. Falling behind 0-2 though. Really good pitches. Mizorowski? I don't know how you actually say that name. Oh, and then you go out swinging on that slider.
The left fielder, number 23, Jordan.
That was tough. Now Jordan Beck, not nearly as good against right-handed pitching. But can he come through for us here?
Nope. Counts 1-0.
Dorsey, Barreto, Unger are the future. That would be a good place to be. And then you just hope out of the rest of the guys that we have between Herb Reyes and Anton Hernandez, Chris Benoit. What's the other guy's name? Brennan. We can get one of those guys to hit good.
3 ball, no strike.
I really hope Anton Hernandez hits just because he throws really hard. And it's fun to have at least one pitcher that throws absolute smoke in the franchise. Last year for the White Sox, I remember the guy's face. I can't remember his name, though. War number 1. Do absolute smoke. And there you go. Jordan Beck will draw the walk. That'll load the bases for Logan Cerny. Can he give us the lead? No. It's going to be a fly ball. Could bring in a run, though, on the sacrifice fly, and they will. Kyle Brown crosses home plate, so a third Rockies run, and it'll also bring up the top of the order, Sterling Thompson. Unfortunately, I think his clutch isn't great.
Nope. Ball 1. Ball 1, no strike.
Keeping him in. Yeah, I think the later you go into spring training, the game keeps pitchers in more. I don't know what's going on. They kept him in here, though. Trying to let him pitch his way out of the jam. And it's going to be a soft tapper to third. So, bases juice. We brought one of them home, which isn't horrendous, but of course you'd like to see more. Both teams with 6 hits. The Brewers are just bringing theirs home at a higher rate. Into the 5th inning now. Got Michael Prosecki into the game here. Sterling. Easy play. And makes the easy throw. First out, gone. Prosecki's actually been pretty solid.
Ball. Hey.
Contreras homered last time to give the Brewers the lead, and this time stopped up by Thompson. He's got a good arm, but he can't beat the runner. Will be a base hit. That's the correct rule, I'd say. Adames had a homer go about 7 feet outside the pole last time, and he gets a hit here. He is hitting the ball hard. All right. Once again, Brewers have guys in scoring position. That was a great camera angle. Yelich hitting well for Milwaukee, 2 for 2 so far. This would be a great opportunity for a double play. We could snag one here. Prosecki's allowing some hard hits. Nice pitch for strike 3. He's the other lefty in our organization. Only has C potential, so I haven't thought about him much as a long-term option. But he got called up last year, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. It wasn't terrible.
Outside, that's a ball.
Two on, two down. 2-run lead for the Brewers. This one's going to get down for a hit. Will it bring home run number 6? Yes, it will. Bean didn't even throw home. Tried to keep the runner from getting to third instead. Which with 2 outs, I don't know why. Probably just didn't really have a chance of stopping the guy from going home, honestly. All right.
Ball.
Just some rough pitching all spring, man. And when we can't pitch well in Arizona, doesn't make me very confident we're going to pitch well in Colorado. That's for sure. Good play, though, over at short, though, to end the inning. Tyler Phillips comes into the game for Milwaukee to face off against Ethan Solace. Homered once, would love to see another one. There it is! And you shall receive Ethan Solace, his 2nd homer of the game, just his 3rd all spring. As much as I might be bad luck for our pitchers, I'm good luck for Murillo and Solace. When we watch these guys, they hit nukes. Solace makes this a 2-run lead once more. Blasted this ball deep to right. 445 feet. Got a ton of that pitch. That was a good pitch to hit from Murillo. Just pulled it foul. Blasted that ball for sure.
Ball, that's down.
1 for 2 with a walk last time out. That's a really good pitch, especially if you're going to get that call.
Ball 2. 2-2 count.
That one was fair. Good play over at first. He's going to make a couple of good plays over at first this game. All right, let's see what Zach can do. 0 for 2 today. Trying to hit through a little bit of a cold streak.
Ball. 1-1. Yep, that ball went out.
Two-one pitch. Low in the zone. It is off the diving glove of Shorts. And Veen gets on base. There we go. Needed a hit there for Veen.
Second baseman,
Kyle Brown. Kyle Brown gets... If Kyle Brown drives in Zach Veen right now, he makes the opening day roster. No questions asked. He might make it regardless, but if he does that right here, that'll be the thing that'll push him towards yes. So let's see if he can do it. There we go. We got a single. That's not going to drive in Zach Veen, though. But it'll put him at third base.
now batting.
Put us in sacrifice fly territory. Still really productive AB. Really, the question that we have to answer for second base is, would we rather have Kyle Brown's offense? Or would we rather have Ryan Bliss's defense as second? That's really the question we have to answer. And if we'd rather have Ryan Bliss's defense for a year, we could give Kyle Brown one more year to develop. Ball shot. Omar Figueroa. No, that's going to be 2. Tough way to end a promising inning. But Ethan Solace, home run number 2. Asked for it, and we got it.
Leading off for the Brewers, the second baseman, Bryce.
We got Tony Santillan up to the mound.
1-0.
Yeah, Bliss's bat was really not good last year. His first year was better. Still wasn't great. Last year was not good. I was hoping he could develop into at least an okay offensive player, because then if you can give me decent at one end and really good at the other, I'll take it, especially for the part of the rebuild that we're in. But it's hard to justify bringing that bat out. But if we have Kyle Brown and Rafael Murillo as our 2 corner infielders, I mean, we saw at the very start of the stream, they had 2 plays in a row that they messed up, that they just couldn't field the ball. Both guys have fielding in their 60s. We could be asking for some trouble, fielding-wise. Is it worth it, though? I don't know. Our pitching probably needs the help of some good fielding behind them. Or we could just say our pitching is already doomed, so let's try to build an offense that can hang. I can see both sides of the argument, honestly. And Kyle Brown's been decent in spring training, not so good. It's not like Solace, right, where we said Solace was playing for his opening day spot in spring training. He came out and just killed it. Push Veen to third. He did push him to third. I said he'd make it if he drove him in. But that was about as close as you could get without driving him in.
Ball that's outside.
But he did put Veen in sac fly territory, and then the guy behind him just screwed us over with the double play. But I think Kyle Brown is ready. He's 24 years old. He's 75 overall. He's hit for pretty good contact. Not incredible, but he's, high. He's like 280 or something like that, contact-wise. In spring. That's good enough. He's hitting pretty much almost exclusively singles. Nice pitch. A good inning there from Santillan. All right, Meneses. He's been somebody that simmed really well. We haven't actually seen him do all that much, though. Not that we've seen many at-bats from Meneses here. How many potential Rookie of the Year? So, yeah, the guys that are eligible for Rookie of the Year are Bean, Thompson, Kyle Brown if he makes it, and Dolander. Dolander might honestly sim well enough to do it. I don't think he will, though. He's simmed really well in the minors. And he simmed decent the 1 month we called him up for September. I would have to say Zach Veen has the best chance to win Rookie of the Year for us this year. Although I was looking and they had Ethan Solace as on the prospect promotion incentive list, which is incorrect because he has 1 full year of service. But if the game glitched and it considers him a rookie this year for some reason unknown, then yeah, Ethan Solace could win it as well. I have a feeling the prospect promotion list is wrong, though, and it's not going to actually consider him a rookie because he was on the rookie of the year. He got second in rookie of the year last year. So if I had to guess, if it ends up being a member of the Rockies, it would be Zach V. Could be Thompson as well. I just think Veen, his power will play better in cores, which will hopefully help him have a good case. Another quiet inning, so we're starting to get to the part where Jackson Churio didn't start today. That's interesting. I guess they wanted some reps for Rene Bautista. Churio not hitting well in spring.
That's the ball. Ball 2. 2 balls, 1 strike.
With us getting to the point where people are starting to get pinch hit, we might send him to the end. I do want to watch this Churio at bat, though. Of course, a very hyped young player in baseball in real life is Churio, and here he gets himself a single. It's kind of a close game, though. Part of me wants to watch it out, but all of the starters are going to be replaced. Not all of them, of course, but a lot of them. Here we see another one. You guys let me know, should we finish it out, or now that everybody's getting subbed out, should we wrap it up? I'll leave it up to the people in chat. I am good either way. We're in the 7th, 3 more innings.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Timeout. That ball hit him.
Bill Leonard to prove us all wrong. I do too. He's literally the best prospect we had in episode 1. And he's just not. Man, Landon Sims is struggling here. Dollander turnaround. It's going to be sweet if it happens. Part of me wants to keep it. As much as Dwayne Perry would be fun. Oh my gosh. All right, this game's not close anymore. I think we're going to call it. Sim the rest. Yeah, I'm thinking so after this home run. Before we could at least say, oh, this game is coming down to the wire, but now it's 9-4. All right, let's sim the rest here. And we would lose 10-6. Overall, a fun game. We got to see a couple of really nice hits. Solace hit 2 home runs, which is the perfect lead off to the regular season after a tough spring. You love to see it. So, Solace 2 hits. Kyle Brown had 2 hits today. Murillo 1 for 3 with a double. Let's finish off the stream by taking a look here at what everybody did for the spring. Murillo ended up 270 with 5 homers, 8 RBIs, a couple of steals. This guy actually, for some reason, I guess it doesn't actually show it here, but he had 14 steals, only 2 caught stealing last year. He's just a decent steals bags, despite the fact that he's not actually that fast. Solace gets up to 224 and 3 homers. 839 with a 199 whip for Dollander. Had more strikeouts than he did in innings pitched, so he's striking guys out. Could be a dark horse candidate for Rookie of the Year. Would love if he came out and just pitched well for us. 3 homers, 236 for Figueroa. Excuse me, not great, but it's what we've got at first. Kopech, not great. Kyle Brown. He's going to be on the opening day roster. I gave him a challenge in that last at bat. He came through. We're gonna give him the spot. Smeltzer usually pitches well for us. You know, not like incredibly well, but 4 ERA with 1.3 mid 1.3 whip. We're gonna take that. Didn't have a good spring though. Thompson 234, not great from him. 225. Yikes, guys. We did not have a lot of standouts here in spring training. Ryan Bliss actually at 297 in his 37 at-bats. Cerny coming off a year when he hit, he improved a lot offensively, but back to kind of how he was in the first year here in the spring. Jelly, unfortunately, did not finish out spring very well. Yeah, Brown out of the guys that we drafted actually has the highest batting clutch that we have. It's really good. Jordan Beck actually played really well this spring. 283 with 6 homers. I'm taking that all day and 100 at-bats for Jordan Beck. So Meneses and Beck probably our best performers here. And of course Murillo, but Murillo's our best player, so we knew he was going to be good. So Jelly, unfortunately, did not finish out spring training strong enough, I think, to be our opening day starter. We're probably rocking Michael Kopech in the next episode on opening day. Although Eric Lauer, very good spring. Last year for us was 4.25, 1.48 whip. Not great, not atrocious. Maybe he could be opening day starter just because his strong spring. Nelson hit well in his at-bats. Newman was okay. Chavis in 42 at-bats was really good. We have to find a way to get him actually in the lineup more often because he was our all-star last year. Hit decently well, near 750 OPS. 19 homers. Kind of got replaced by Omar Figueroa, but we might need to find another spot for him. Lozano in 13 innings was very good. Did not allow a single run in spring training. Okay. Mauri Lozano. I'd like to see it. Maybe he'll be our opening day starter with 27 stamina. Benny Montgomery is actually incredible in 30 at-bats. Rosecki did solid. Ramirez, not looking great. And there you have it. Max Anderson was good in small sample size. Locklear was good in small sample size. Moreno was good in 19 innings. So the question is, what do we put? This is right now what we have. Let's go Lozano. Right now he's our setup guy. I think he might. We make Lozano our closer after what we just saw. He's got good stuff to be a closer, I think. I think we're going to start the year as Lozano as our closer with after how good of a spring he had. 13 innings, no runs allowed, just a 0.5 whip, excuse me. RNG closing, buddy, especially after Ramirez struggled. In fact, who else was good? I think Moreno might even have earned setup. Ramirez will start as a mid reliever. The question is it Kopech or Lauer as our opening day starter is really the question. I think we could do something like this. We're going to do it. Why not? I think Lauer, he had a good spring. By far our best starting pitcher. We're going to give him the opening day start next episode. See if we can keep it up. So Apart from that, that's really all I've got. I gotta do a lot of stuff offline before I actually officially end spring training. I gotta make sure everybody's on the right squads. So I'm gonna do that all off stream, just because it's a little bit of a process for me. So thank you all for hanging out with me during this spring training live stream. I apologize for the technical difficulties we had. You want to take a longer look at Lauer real quick? We could do that before we end. Doesn't have any per nines in the 60s. But again, like with the show, one of the things I like about it is sometimes ratings don't matter as much as just what they play, how they play. That's all that really matters, right? How does the guy play? And he played really well. Was okay for us last year. You know, turning a decent season into a really strong spring, I think is enough. Will he be, you know, in that number one spot all year? Depends on how he plays. Yeah, he's opening day starter. I think he earned it. Yeah. It doesn't matter a ton. So anyway, I'm going to do all this other stuff off stream. Thank you all for hanging out with me, especially those of you in chats. I don't want to say all your names because there were a bunch of you today. You guys make streaming a whole lot more fun and worth it. So that's all I've got for the stream. We'll be back soon with opening day. Hopefully tomorrow. If not, for sure, it'll be coming out Tuesday at the very latest.